to play. Yeah, turn it up to 10. Hey, y'all join in. Come on, let the party begin. Let's do it again. Bob that head. Bob that head. Oh, every Saturday. Bob that head. Bob that head. SEC football.
Hey y'all, we're Rascal Flat
And it's time for some SEC football, baby.
on Raycom Sports.
We are in the Ozarks in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where the intense passion of Southeastern Conference football will be on display yet again on this October Saturday as the Florida Gators and the Arkansas Razorbacks, two teams coming off losses, try to get back in the win column. It's our all-tell game of the week from Fayetteville at Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium. 3-1 Florida, 2-2 Arkansas. And hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Neal, and welcome to our coverage of Southeastern Conference football right here on Raycom Sports. Now, of course, last week was kind of a Black Sunday, if I can use that term, for a couple of teams in the Southeastern Conference ranked in the top 5. Georgia falls to Alabama, and Florida, of course, loses to Ole Miss, and perhaps the shocker of the day. Now, nobody at Florida took this loss any harder than Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Tim Tebow.
I'm sorry. Extremely sorry. You know, we were hoping for an undefeated season. That was my goal, something Florida's never done here. But I promise you one thing, a lot of good will come out of this. You have never seen any player in the entire country play as hard as I will play the rest of the season, and you never see someone push the rest of the team as hard as I will push everybody the rest of the season, and you never see a team play harder than we will the rest of this season. God bless.
Wow. I mean, we've always said he's a passionate human being, but I think he caught everybody by surprise with his emotion after that loss. What do you make of that?
Well, I think he had to show some resolve, Dave, and he did. He showed resolve for the Gator Nation, showed resolve for his teammates. There is nobody that works harder than Tim Tebow's wins. We know that. We've been around the kid. But what it does say is how good Ole Miss is. I think we cannot afford to let that down. Right. Ole Miss played extremely well last week.
Well, we'll see how Tim Tebow and his mates come out here today, if they can bring that energy, taking on an Arkansas team that has lost their last 2 games by a total of 77 points. Their quarterback, Casey Dick's going to have to step up and play well today.
Well, he's taking blame for a number of the mistakes they've made over the last couple weeks. He hopes to play better today, and the guy he's going to need to get the football to is Michael Smith. Smith comes in averaging 5.4 yards a rush, and he's a kid they've thrown the football to. Dave, 12 times out of the backfield, he's caught the ball. He's a guy that they're going to have to get the ball to often today, both out of the backfield and hand it to him if Arkansas has a chance to win.
All right, well, Florida's won 6 straight in this series. Let's take a look at our Toyota keys to the game.
Well, you heard Tim Tebow. It's about coming back. It's about coming back with resolve. I think the Gators will play well today. They'll need to bounce back after the tough loss to Ole Miss. And for Arkansas, you've got to get off to a faster start. They've only scored 7 points in the first half this season. They have struggled early. They've got to get off to a faster start so Coach Petrino can call the kind of game he wants to call.
Well, SEC football is presented in high definition where available, right here on Raycom Sports. Let's go down and check in with Dave Baker.
Hey, Dave, you talked about the disappointment of last Saturday. That brought about some Sunday soul-searching for both teams. But for the Arkansas Razorbacks, a team that's going through a coaching change new system, it was the players themselves that called a players-only meeting. And Casey Dick, the guy who's gotten much of the criticism, was the guy who was leading the way. And I've got to tell you that the energy down here on the Arkansas sideline, really big today. Showers this morning here in Fayetteville, but it's dry, and it'll be a fast field for this one.
Well, Florida won the toss. They deferred, so Arkansas will receive, and they will watch the ball sail through the end zone as Caleb Sturgis hits one through that Razorback end zone to our right. Let's take a look at our Budweiser starting lineup. DJ Williams has been big every game.
Yeah, key weapon for Casey Dick there is to find his tight end. He'll have a nice matchup against the linebacker today against Florida. And up front, Big John, Big Bad John will anchor that middle. And this is an offensive line that's been much maligned over the last couple weeks. 7 sacks they gave up against Texas last week.
Yeah, and 17 sacks overall this season. Casey Dick, when you look at his numbers, they're pretty impressive. It's just the few lapses he has during a game that has really been costing this Razorback football team. They will throw it on first down. Near side pass incomplete, looking for London Crawford to Norris Jenkins, that true freshman on the coverage. And speaking of Florida's defense, here's their Budweiser starting lineup.
Well, Jermaine Cunningham, a tremendous pass rusher off the edge. It's a group that plays with extreme energy up front. And in the middle, their main man is Brandon Spikes, but Brandon Hicks will take over for Dustin Doe, who's out with a double hernia surgery. And Janoris Jenkins, the true freshman, starts at corner. And Janoris Jenkins was the man that was on coverage on that last play, an outstanding job, as the Razorbacks have one of their big fellows coming off.
Michael Aguirre, the 315-pound junior out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. One play, and he is heading back to the bench. Not a good start. There's this Arkansas offensive line. Only one senior starter. Michael Aguirre, the junior out of Fort Lauderdale. Let's see if he can get back on the field. So on 2nd down and 10. Here come the Razorbacks. Casey Dick under center, and he will hand it off. Michael Smith can't break the tackle of Joe Hayden. Still on his feet.
No whistle,
wow.
Dave. No whistle as he ran through the tackle of Joe Hayden. It looked like Hayden had him on the ground, Dave, and he rolled over on his body and jumped back up and kept playing.
Yeah.
Just a simple stretch play to the left side. Now let's see if he touches the ground. He sits on Hayden, never touched the ground, put the hand on the ground. Looked like the foot may have gotten out of bounds. But credit Michael Smith just to keep playing.
They will spot the ball out over the 25 to the 26-yard line.
A strange play there. I don't think the officials saw it real cleanly either.
Plenty of time to throw. It's Crawford. He's to the 40. Crawford near midfield and bumped out of bounds by Hayden. But a first down, and Arkansas moving the football. Something they've been able to do. They just haven't been able to put it in the end zone.
The Razorbacks catch the Gators in man coverage, and London Crawford's dragging across short. Casey Dick puts it on the move, and London Crawford gets down the sideline. Good job of taking care of the football at the end as Hayden pops him out of bounds. But a great play for the Razorbacks early, Dave. This is a team that's had a tough time with 3rd down conversions. Does a good job there.
At their own 49. Smith in motion. Pressure comes. Casey Dick sees it, hits Smith. He'll have the first down. Inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Brandon Hicks runs him out of bounds, but another Arkansas first down.
Well, what's amazing is when you get a completion for a quarterback, all of a sudden the game kind of slows down for you. A blitz off the outside, the short side. Casey Dick sees it, gets the ball to Smith in the flat, and another Razorback first down. So Casey Dick on the game here early.
So Arkansas will go with a 5-receiver set here. DJ Williams, the tight end in the slot to the near side. Casey Dick will throw the other way, looking for Crawford. Anderson on the coverage, incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd down. London Crawford has been a factor here in the opening series for this Arkansas team. Interesting that Paul Petrino, offensive coordinator and brother of Bobby Petrino, the head coach, said that London Crawford, they needed to get him. They needed him to step up. And they said he had a great week of practice. They were anxious to see if that transferred onto the football field.
Yeah, came in with only 9 receptions, Dave, and he's one of the guys, the older guys in this group, a junior. A lot of freshmen sprinkled in this wide receiver corps.
The center might have double clutched.
Brandon Spikes took a swing at an Arkansas blocker there.
Prior to the snap, false start. 72 on the offense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remains 2nd.
Watch for it. Shot right there. Little John early. Now, these are the kind of things Arkansas has done to themselves, Dave, is put themselves in long yardage situations. This 2nd and long, but they've had a tough time converting these long yardage situations. Casey Dick's going to look to try to get probably half of this and put themselves in a manageable 3rd down situation.
Arkansas, third in the conference in penalties, 23 for 137 so far this year. They've been pretty good in that department. See if they can make it up here on 2nd down and 15. Here's Smith dancing around inside the 40. Might have gotten 5 back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, Dave, I mentioned the 3rd down conversions, and here's the disparity. When Arkansas is in that 1 to 6 range, which is manageable, 3rd and 1 to 6, they're converting almost 60% of the time. We saw the London Crawford conversion earlier in the drive. But when it's 7 yards plus, it's almost 11 yards here. They've converted only 10 and 36. That's 27% on 3rd down.
And last week they were not very good in 3rd down conversions, regardless of the distance. Casey Dick passes caught. Joe Adams still on his feet, but he'll be about 4 yards shy of the 1st down. They'll mark it at the 32-yard line. They'll make that about 5 yards shy, but with the kicking issues they've had here, I think this is a must-go, and maybe just trying to get a spark under your team.
This is a classic example of a young receiver, a freshman receiver making a mistake. Got to go north and south right now. Go north and south. He goes sideline to sideline, and the Gators push him out of bounds. He had a chance to get close to the 1st down there.
Jonathan Lewigs in the middle there. Three-man rush from the Gators. And they get pressure on Casey Dick and they sack him. A 3-man rush.
Good initial protection. Good job of Florida covering down the field, but Casey Dick had an opportunity to get the ball to London Crawford. A lot of times he's looking short for that conversion throw, and London Crawford was running the deep end route at about 15 yards and came open. Arkansas does a nice job of protecting. Finally, Carlos Dunlap stays with the rush and puts Casey Dick on the ground.
Dunlap now with 3.5 sacks on the year. And Florida has the football at the 36-yard line. Tim Tebow with Percy Harvin in motion. Tebow will keep it near side. Will option to Harvin. He'll pick up 7 on the play before he's pushed out of bounds by Elton Ford. Take a look at our starting lineups. The Budweiser starting lineups, and Aaron Hernandez, another tight end that's a factor. We've got 2 good tight ends today.
20 receptions on his career, 4 touchdowns. He had one of the big fumbles against Ole Miss last week. And the Pouncey, you heard about the Pounceys in the pregame. The Pounceys are tremendous in the middle, anchoring that line. They'll need to, because Jim Tart, their veteran, is out with an injury.
Jim Tart is here in full uniform. Saw him before the game, but he's got a bad shoulder. I don't think that he will get on this field at all this afternoon. On 2nd down, Harvin breaks a tackle, still on his feet, down to the 43-yard line. Matt Harris, the safety, finally brings him down, but missed tackles again, costing the Hogs defensively.
This is something we talked about last week. We had a chance to see this Gator team against Ole Miss, Dave, and Harvin's ability to run through tackles is so underrated. The kid is 185 pounds, and unbelievable how strong he is running.
Tebow out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. Little shoulder fake over the middle, wide open. Pass is caught by Carl Moore down to the 15-yard line. Jamar Love with the tackle.
Just the threat of Tim Tebow carrying the football pulls the linebackers. Watch the little fake. There's the little fake by Tebow. The linebacker screens. He throws in behind Carl Moore with really an easy throwing lane for Tebow. Razorback front 7 so concerned about Harvin and Tebow running the ball. It's going to put those freshman safeties on an island behind.
Just the 3rd catch of the year for Carl Moore. But a big one that sets up the Gators inside the red zone. Here's Harvin trying to catch that near side, but perhaps a face mask. Jake Beckett, that freshman from Little Rock, a defensive end, the Arkansas coach is so high on. We'll get credit for the tackle.
Beckett, 91, defensive end, reaches out, grabs Harvin's mask, no question about it.
Personal foul, grabs from the face mask. 91 on the defense. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage, on the offense. By rule, they offset. Replay first down.
Here's our Budweiser starting defense. And Ernest Mitchell, the senior nose guard, not playing today, had his knee scoped earlier this week.
They need more pressure out of that front four, Dave. We talked to Willie Robinson, the defensive coordinator, Jerry Franklin, the freshman linebacker, anchors that group, and then Elton Ford and Jericho Nelson, two freshman safeties back there. Jamar Love has been the anchor. He's been the guy that's played the most consistent at corner.
Chris Rainey now in alongside Tim Tebow in the backfield. And Rainey gets the handoff down to about the 10-yard line. Last week we had a chance to talk to Urban Meyer about the red zone, and he was very disappointed in their production heading into the Ole Miss game. Said they have to be more successful. He's not here to kick field goals, he says. We're here in the business of scoring touchdowns in the red zone.
No, and they haven't kicked a lot of field goals. I just think Urban wants to score a touchdown every time he gets down there.
Against Tennessee, they had 3 opportunities in the red zone, came away with 3 field goals. Last week, much better in that department as Chris Rainey takes the handoff near the 5. He'll be about a yard shy of that first down. So look at the Arkansas coaching staff.
There's Willie right there, Willie Robinson. Oh, boy, you talk about intense now.
Willie spent the last 8 years in the National Football League before coming here to join Bobby Petrino.
He came into our meeting yesterday and said, "Okay, guys, what do you need?"
Yeah, he was locked in. Let's just go there. On 3rd and very short, Tebow lofts it up to the corner of the end zone, incomplete. And now you're looking at a 4th down and a half a yard. Intended target was Lewis Murphy. Jamar Love with the coverage.
I think the reason you take that shot is because you know you're going to go for it on 4th down and short, David. This is a one-on-one situation. Love and Murphy does a good job of waiting to the last minute to try to get his hands up and strip it out of there.
Well, here we go again. Another 4th and short. We had this situation last week in Gainesville, and of course it was about 2 yards. This is about a half a yard difference.
Yeah, no difference here. It's Tebow straight through the middle.
Inside the 5, and no question Tebow got the first down. Elton Ford will get credit for the tackle.
This is a bread and butter short yardage play for Florida. Is get an extra blocker in front of Tebow and just let Tebow use 240 to get downhill. Arkansas did a good job of swelling up at the play, but just not enough to stop him on that real short yardage play.
So now 1st and goal for the Gators. Out of the shotgun. Tebow working the left side. Somebody lost a helmet, but Tebow got tackled at the line of scrimmage. I think it was Jerry Franklin, that freshman out of Marion, Arkansas.
Franklin comes in leading the Razorbacks in tackles. Does a great job of running through. You'll see Franklin 34 show right now. Stepped by the block, lost his helmet, still stuck his head in there and made the play. He's one of those kids that they're really excited about. They've got a ton of kids on this team, a lot of freshmen.
Arkansas coaches trying to get a timeout. Didn't get it. They're going to play on. On 2nd and goal, here's Tebow off the left side again. They stop him short at the 2.5. Let's go check in with Dave Baker.
You know, Dave, what almost happened was Madison, who just checked back to the game for Arkansas. He was supposed to be out on that formation. Bobby Petrino sprinted down to about the 15, and they wouldn't have been able to get Madison off the field had Tebow not taken the time that he did at the line of scrimmage.
Well, look for Florida here to spread it out a little bit, maybe get Harvin running sideline to sideline, use the speed, maybe even Brandon James, who's checked in the game. One of those guys running with the football. Now Urban Meyer's running down the sideline to burn a timeout, so he didn't have the people in the field he wanted.
Timeout, Florida.
Timeout on the
First
field.
timeout of the
Florida
half.
knocking on the door. Back in a moment. We are back with Florida looking at a 3rd down and goal. Little shovel pass to James. Touchdown, Florida.
Boy, it's an outstanding call because your eyes are immediately on Percy Harvin, who splits wide left. You got to figure, okay, Harvin is going to touch the football. Harvin motions back to the inside. They start the option that way, and then Brandon James slips to the inside, who's the remaining back in the backfield for an easy shovel pass and a touchdown for the Gators. When you get those two kids on the field, that's poison in both directions.
This point after is up and good. So Florida scores our first touchdown of the game. Tim Tebow to Brandon James. 7-0 Florida, back after a word from your local stations. Texas Pete's scoring drive looks like this. 10 plays, over 5 minutes off the clock. And Brandon James takes that 2-yard shovel pass into the end zone for the 7-0 Florida advantage. 6:54 to go here in the opening quarter from Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Bobby Petrino was telling us yesterday how important it was for his team to get off to a good start. They've yet to score points in the first quarter this year, and they had a good drive going until they were stopped on 4th down. See what they do here on this possession. Sturgis to kick it off, and it's another good kick. Dennis Johnson lets it bound through the back of that end zone. Fans, get your cell phones ready. It's time for our weekly interactive feature called the Alltel Text of War. We want your answers to this question. Which team will have more rushing yards? We'll text your answer to S1 or S2 to 55333. We'll update the results later in the show.
Now, right now, Florida has the edge because that long drive stuck it in the end zone, but Arkansas moved the ball very well in their first drive. Were stopped on a 4th down conversion in Gator territory.
It's Casey Dick rolling right, throwing back across the middle, and a good play from Janoris Jenkins. Bats it away as London Crawford thought he might have had a reception.
Now, this is a young kid that keeps coming on, and they liked him when he first showed up on campus in Gainesville, and he has now taken over as the starter. Wanda Pierre-Louis had been the starter at corner, but Janoris Jenkins has taken over, had an interception against Tennessee. Last week he started against Ole Miss and had 5 tackles, so great play there running across the field with London Crawford.
On 2nd and 10, set up a little screen, and Casey Dick was trying to hit Dennis Johnson with it, but he had hardly any time to even turn and look.
Well, that's set up pretty good, though, Dave. It's a screen pass that Casey's got to lose ground, and he's got to find Johnson. This is a great opportunity. See, they get what they want out of the pass rush of Florida. They get 3-4 rushers up the field. If he's able to get that football to Johnson, there's a lot of room to run. And that's part of that execution that Coach Petrino's looking for. Got to get that football to his back.
3rd down and 10 now. Inside handoff to Michael Smith. Breaks 1 tackle out over the 30. That should be good enough for the 1st down. Who would have thought they'd go to the ground on 3rd and 10?
We had a chance to talk to Michael Smith yesterday, and this is an impressive kid now. Good job on the delay. You got to get Brandon Spike. Just you get enough of him. Wade Grayson gets just enough of him to let Michael Smith get up the field. Good job there by DJ Williams, the tight end on A.J. Jones. But Michael Smith, boy, he's a leader, an impressive kid.
Smith bouncing to the outside. Too many white jerseys surround him. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Brandon Spikes will get credit for that stop. Our 1st and 10 line is brought to you by IKBI Incorporated, IGBI, building vision, building relationships.
Getting back to Michael Smith and everything he has kind of meant since he got on the field for the Razorbacks. It had a chance, had to wait. Obviously, the backfield's been a little crowded here the last couple of years.
Yeah, I said, surprising how patient you were waiting. And he was like, patient? What are you talking about, patient? It was funny. But now it's his show in that backfield. Over the middle. There's a flag, and it's picked off. That'll be coming back. A bunch of flags get dropped around the 40-yard line. Ahmad Black picked it off, but DJ Williams was nearly dragged to the ground. Major Wright, the safety, was covering Williams.
I don't think there's any question that this is pass interference.
Number 21 on the defense. Penalty. Spot of the foul. First down.
Well, DJ Williams is going to come in from the right side, number 45. And Major Wright is all over him. Picks him up in man coverage, wraps him up with the right arm. That's a pretty clean call. Good job by the officials to see that.
Well, you know DJ Williams will be a factor. He's caught at least 4 balls in every game this year for Arkansas. I mean, he has been their main go-to guy, 19 catches overall this season. And you ask Bobby Petrino about him, he says flat out he's just our best pass catcher. Here's their best runner in Michael Smith. On to the 43, A.J. Jones, that sophomore out of Tampa, Florida, will get credit for the tackle. But the clock is moving under 5 minutes, and that's an issue Arkansas has to deal with. They want to shorten this game up. And you do that by keeping the football and picking up some first downs, which they have done on their first 2 possessions.
Yeah, take care of the football, get good increments each time. First down, second down, and then get the conversion on third down. Where they've been struggling is on this down. Second down's been a tough down for the Razorbacks.
Over the middle, there's Williams, the tight end. First down to the 43-yard line of Florida. Major Wright with the stop.
Well, once again, Florida is going to dial up some pressure. They're going to bring Brandon Spikes, the linebacker, and creates a void in the middle. Here's DJ Williams, the tight end. He finds that void, and Casey Dick is on page with him and gets him the football right away. Good job of DJ Williams understanding there's a hole in the middle.
How fluid is he with the football? This is a guy that's 6'2", 250 pounds.
Former basketball player.
Look at Michael Smith. 5'7", 175, getting into that secondary of Florida. Ahmad Black brings him down, but another first down for Arkansas.
This is what we saw from the Razorbacks a couple of weeks ago when they took on Alabama, Dave. They moved the football extremely well, but were unable to finish drives. Another chance for the Razorbacks now getting deep in Gator territory.
First down and 10. This is about where they were stopped on their last possession when they went for it on 4th down and did not make it. Here's Casey Dick. He will hold on to the football. He fumbled in a situation like this last week and said one of his priorities this week in practice was to work on holding that football with 2 hands when he decides to tuck it.
Yeah, the fundamental stuff of taking care of the football as a quarterback, you've got to get that done. Let's go down to Dave Baker.
Art, you talked about Michael Smith, and impressive was the term that you used, apropos, certainly. He talked about the fact that he really got his style of play and how to go about things from Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. He said Jones taught him not to wear his emotion on his sleeve all the time, but he said both guys taught him about work ethic, the fact that they came out every day and played no matter what the circumstance.
Here's Casey Dick. That pass is dropped. It was intended for the true freshman Greg Childs. Major Wright on that coverage, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Another example of not getting it done on second down. Arkansas here in a second and long situation. This is a well-thrown ball. That's a ball you got to squeeze. Greg Childs is unable to squeeze it. Major Wright on the coverage. But those are the kind of plays that extend drives. Those are the kind of plays you have to make if you're going to get better on offense. And now a 3rd and long situation for Arkansas again.
7th play of the drive coming up. 3rd down and 11.
Prior to the snap, false start, 79 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, down
Well, nothing like it. Presented by Crystal. Today we focus in on the Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Well, their video board is one of the largest sports venue video boards in the entire world. It is huge. And when they put this thing in a few years ago, it was the most impressive thing I had seen at a stadium that I had been to, and I've been to a lot. Third down and long. Here's Michael Smith. He will get it back to about a 4th down and 8 situation. Major Wright in on the tackle, but here you go, another situation for Bobby Petrino. What are you doing now? You're in that kind of no man's land with a field goal kicking situation that isn't really steady.
You don't know where he is as far as his comfort zone, and obviously what he's doing right now, keeping his offense on the field, tells you where his comfort zone is as far as kicking it. Right here is about a 45, 46-yard kick. He'll opt to keep his offense on the football field.
Shea Haddock has taken over the job from Alex Tejada. He said Shea Haddock he feels good about from 40 and in. Here's the pass to Williams. I don't think he got it. He'll be a yard shy. He needed to get to the 21. They'll spot it just inside the 22. Ahmad Black converges with a couple of other Gators and will get credit for the tackle, but the Hogs turn it over on downs again.
Now, Arkansas gets man coverages is what they want. He's trying to get DJ Williams to run, but no chance there against Charlie Strong's defense. As we get out of here, the Gators still lead.
Well, Bobby Petrino's club has rattled off 19 plays in the first quarter. But they have nothing to show for it as they have been stopped on downs on both occasions. The Gators take over at the 22. Brandon James will lose 5, maybe 6 on the play.
Well, that's a nice play, Dave. Adrian Davis comes up the field from the defensive end spot, stays at home on the sweep play. You're going to see him to the left of your screen, just stays at home. They will get his hands around a very elusive Brandon James and gets him on the ground, and now the Gators forced with a 2nd and long situation.
Adrian Davis coming off a season high, or actually tied his season high with 8 tackles versus Texas last weekend. So a loss of 6. Over the middle, pass is incomplete. Aaron Hernandez, the tight end, was the intended target. Take a look at our old scoreboard. Georgia Tech and Duke in a big ACC tilt. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the year?
#1 Sooners up to 14, early 14. And how about those Cyclones?
Yeah.
Up 14-0 against the Jayhawks.
We will check out your alma mater throughout the afternoon. So here you go, the crowd coming to their feet at 3rd down and 16. Empty set, Tebow in the shotgun. Pass is caught at the 31-yard line. I don't know if that's enough. Lewis Murphy makes the grab, but he might be a yard shy. And if you're Urban Meyer, that's got to be frustrating knowing you dial up a play, and if your receiver knows where that marker is, you got the 1st down.
Yeah, but the route is run at a certain level, and when you're 2nd and 16, that doesn't change. You don't change the depth of your route for that. You just run the route, you catch the ball, and try to get the 1st down. If you had a 2nd and 8 situation or something like that and you had an 8-yard hitch, you might step it a little bit further out. But on 2nd and 16, because the routes are layered at certain levels, you're not going to change the depth of your route. Let's go to Dave Baker.
Dave Archer, one thing that's factored into Bobby Petrino's thinking, maybe factoring into Urban Meyer's as well, is the wind down here. Wasn't supposed to be real windy today, but for your and Dave's purposes, I'd call it a 2-club wind. And Arkansas has been going into that wind in the first quarter, and maybe Urban Meyer is taking a look at that as we take down to 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. If he doesn't go for it, this would be the last chance for him to flip the field.
Well, Jim Tebow's back on the field. 4th down and about a half a yard.
Trying to pull him off with the hard count, Dave.
And Florida will take the timeout. And the punt team surrounds Urban Meyer. will step aside and return after a word from the SEC. Florida 7, Arkansas nothing. 34 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. And as Dave Baker alluded to moments ago, this is a situation where the win will become a factor on this. And, you know, Arkansas needs to take advantage of the return game. They need all the help they can get.
Dave, Arkansas has kept their defense on the field. Remember, Ole Miss hurt Florida with a fake punt about this situation last week. Defense is on the field to protect against that.
Michael Smith back to return the punt. It's a good punt. Wow, did Jonathan Phillips deliver in the clutch. Smith bouncing around at the 18. Excuse me, Chaz Henry. I said Jonathan Phillips, Chaz Henry. Chaz is among the best in the country. He's second in the SEC with a 45.5-yard average. So Arkansas will have it at the 19. Our Polaris Ranger hardest working player of the game is that man. You could pretty much use him every week.
That's for sure. Boy, he's a huge guy, leads his team in tackles, 13 tackles and a sack last week against Ole Miss. He's one of those guys that shows up every week for the Gators.
Here's Michael Smith. Look at his balance. He picks up 9. Ahmad Black will get credit for the tackle. Michael Smith today has already carried it 6 times on the afternoon.
And this Razorback offensive line, Dave, holding their own against the Gator defensive front.
And that'll do it for the first quarter. And Arkansas rattled off 20 plays in that first quarter, but they trail 7-0 to the 12th-ranked Florida Gators. Back with more on our All-Tel Game of the Week on Raycom Sports. Today's game is brought to you in part by Suzuki Motorcycles. Boy, folks got here early this morning for a little tailgate. Of course, we see it every Saturday. These dedicated fans around the Southeastern Conference had to endure some rain this morning. Actually had some thunder showers, but it is shaped up to be a beautiful day here in the Ozarks. A couple of tight ends in the game for Arkansas. They'll go with Michael Smith. He breaks free. Smith to the 44-yard line. Major Wright dragged him down. That was close to going the distance.
Michael Smith here, just a straight hitting play. Good job of the Razorback offensive line to create a crease, and then Major Wright probably saves a touchdown by coming over from the safety spot to make the play.
Take a look at our AT&T first quarter stats. See those rushing yards. 43 for Arkansas, but Michael Smith having a wonderful afternoon. 8 carries for 64 yards by himself.
You mentioned it early, Dave, eating clock, and that's what Arkansas has been able to do. They just have not been able to finish a drive.
Tight end DJ Williams popped up out of his stance. And here's another situation where Arkansas just kind of stubbing their toe.
Snap. False start. 45 on the offense. 5 yards. Down wins 1.
And Dave, as a play caller now, your coach Petrino, now you're trying to figure out how do I pick up the increments of yardage so I can move the chains. Obviously, you'd like to score on every play, but realistically, you're trying to get yourself in nice situations. So now here on first down, you've got to be a little bit more aggressive with your play call.
See our Woodman scoreboard. Here it's 7-0. Inside, quick hitter to Michael Smith. That'll get you back to a manageable down as he takes it out to the 47.5-yard line. Ahmad Black and Brandon Spikes converge for the Gators.
You show an action, a pass action offensive look at pre-snap and then handoff on the delayed handoff, and Spikes makes the tackle there in the middle.
Second down and 7. Casey Dick will throw it away. and live to play another day, and the crowd applauds as opposed to trying to force it in there. They've seen enough of that this year.
That's a great decision. Sometimes you have to learn by making mistakes, and he's had a few over the last couple of weeks, but a good job here by the senior quarterback to realize nothing available. Let's minimize the damage and line up again on third down. And this is one of those situations where they've been okay at converting on third down.
A third down situation. Casey Dick, by the way, 6 out of 12 for 70 yards. But the story's been Michael Smith, 9 carries, 73 yards. Play clock down to 3. Pressure comes. Casey Dick is hit, but he gets the pass off, and that will be an Arkansas first down. He finds Joe Adams, a freshman out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Razorbacks are catching Florida in a lot of man coverage. This time Joe Adams is going to slide across the formation. Brandon Hicks with the pressure from the linebacker spot, but he's able to find Adams dragging across, one of his freshman receivers. This is one of the guys Paul Petrino, the wide receiver coach, is really excited about. We've got to get this guy the ball more and let him get it going in the open field.
Adams 7 catches in the opener versus Louisiana Monroe. Now has 14 grabs on the year. Michael Smith takes a big hit, but then stays on his feet inside the 40. And Brandon Hicks slow to get up for Florida.
There's Paul standing up right here. He's the guy helping his brother on the sidelines call the plays. Bobby, the main play caller, the head coach, but Paul Petrino there sitting down now. Right here. He's helping out a significant amount. He has the title of the offensive coordinator.
Smith with a big first half. Arkansas's had 3 drives that all started back around their 20-yard line, but they've gotten the ball into Florida territory each and every time. That time Brandon Hicks uses his strength. He and Major Wright gang up on Michael Smith. Now some little extracurricular activity.
And unfortunately, Michael Smith looks to be still down on the knee on the sideline there, shaking it off. We talked to him, and he's a realist, Dave. Michael Smith, 5'7", 175 pounds. He realizes that, you know what, I'm not a 20, 25 carry a guy, but I'll do whatever you ask of me, and he's stood up so far today for this team.
As you can see, our Academy Sports down and distance marker says it's 3rd and 3. Over the middle, DJ Williams hits the turf, and there are no flags, and that'll get the Arkansas faithful up on their feet. Hicks on that coverage of DJ Williams, and that'll bring up a 4th down, and here goes the decision again.
Well, this time Florida, there's no question it's pass interference. Grabbed him, drug him to the ground. Well, that's a missed call. Arkansas is running a lot of crossing routes. And this is one that just got missed because they're watching the other receiver. And Hicks tackled DJ Williams coming across the field.
Well, Bobby Petrino's been 0 for 2 on 4th downs already this afternoon. He will at least line up in a punt formation. And perhaps the most dangerous return man in the country. You could throw a couple of other guys in the SEC in that group as well. There are some standout punt returners in the SEC today.
Good ball. Left game on the offense. Penalty 5 yards. 4th down.
Boy, Bobby Petrino is still hot.
Now, Florida had kept their defense on the field. We saw Arkansas do it earlier on a short yardage situation. Again, Florida's going to keep their defense on the field to guard against the fake and just put Brandon James deep.
So Jeremy Davis will punt it away. He's averaging 42.5 yards, the 3rd best average in the SEC. He will angle toward the sideline. It will hit at the 5. Stopped at the 1. Whoa, what a play. Well, that worked to perfection. Shedrick Johnson, right place, right time. Gators are backed up. 7-0 Florida out in front of Arkansas, but the Gators are backed up inside their own 1-yard line. Tebow out of the shotgun. Little shoulder fake again. It's Riley Cooper, and the flag comes in at the 15-yard line. Jamar Love on the coverage.
Oh, what a big-time catch and a bigger-time throw from Tim Tebow. The ball placement on this is phenomenal to give his player a chance to make the play, as Jamar Love was all over Riley Cooper.
Ben Wagers, our referee today.
There was pass interference on the defense. The result of the play was 15 yards. The penalty 15 yards. First down.
I want you to watch ball placement here from Tebow. He has to be outside shoulder with this throw. Look where the throw is. Outside shoulder. Tremendous ball placement from Tim Tebow to give Riley Cooper an opportunity against tight coverage.
Yeah, that was a bullet throw, too. Good catch by Cooper. And the Gators out of a little bit of trouble. They will swing it to Percy Harvin. Harvin dancing around to the 20, and he is stopped there after a gain of 3.5. Jericho Nelson makes the stop. Well, they had Jericho earlier in the year playing some linebacker. They moved him back into that safety. As we look at Percy Harvin in terms of his receptions, but he put the ball on the turf last week, and it cost his Florida team dearly. But without him last week, who knows what would have happened to their offense? He was unbelievable.
He really was, Dave. He fumbled the ball 3 times last week, lost one of them. It was his first time he'd fumbled in 227 touches. So he had taken care of the ball extremely well up to that point.
Here's a little option. Harvin stumbles. He'll be a yard shy the first down. Elton Ford will get credit for the tackle. But here's a little glimpse of what we were talking about with Percy Harvin. You know, he was amazing with 10 carries, 82 yards, also had that touchdown. And then in terms of receptions, career high, 13, which was tied for number 2 in Florida history for single game at 186 yards receiving, a career high. Averaged 12.5 yards per touch, 286 all-purpose yards. A healthy Percy Harvin is bad news for everybody else that has to face him.
Especially against Ole Miss. His last 2 games against Ole Miss, he's got the ball 24 times for over 300 yards.
And there's Harvin. Did he make that catch? A flag comes in late. They will say he made the catch at the 35. And Dallas Washington might have been called for another face mask.
Yeah, both players are sliding on the ground. Dave Harvin trying to slide to make the catch, and Dallas Washington also sliding. Looks like he may have reached up and grabbed hold of Harvin's mask. Outstanding effort by Harvin to make the catch on the back shoulder.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Penalty will be 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
See, right at the end of this, grab the mask as he was sliding on the ground. That's where the call comes. This will be a great shot of it right here. Grab the top of the mask. It's a good call. Boy, Coach Petrino, you know, he'd gone for it, Dave, the first couple of times on 4th down in Gator territory. Decides to punt, pins them, does a great job on special teams. He had hoped to try to flip the field there, but a couple penalties, pass interference, and now a face mask as the Gators out near the 40-yard line.
That's the second time Harvin's been had his face mask grabbed and his head twisted in an awkward position. Chris Rainey now in the backfield alongside Tebow. He will get that handoff. The speedster out to the 45-yard line. A flag down at the line of scrimmage. Another flag. We've seen a lot of those flags here in the last few minutes. Four penalties against Arkansas today. Just one against Florida. Now you can make it 2, apparently, as they back up. A holding call against the Gators.
Holding, number 55 on the offense. Penalty 10 yards from the previous spot. Down remains 1.
Go to raycomsports.com for a variety of SEC football highlights and features, archived videos, sweepstakes, podcast, and information on our SEC Game of the Week. raycomsports.com, your link to the web on the SEC.
The referees are looking for you. They did not walk off enough yardage for the flag.
Correction on the penalty. 10 yards.
Now the Gators will set up shop inside the 30, back at the 29-yard line. Empty set. Looks like Arkansas might be bringing some pressure. Now they back off. Tebow throws, passes, caught by Lewis Murphy out at the 35-yard line. That'll bring up a second down and about 14 yards. Jamar Love with the coverage. And another flag, this one on the near side by the Arkansas bench at the 30-yard line. Looks like they're gonna back Florida up again. A false start perhaps.
Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. On the offense, 25 yards. Down remains first.
There's Dan Mullen, the offensive coordinator for Florida. You know, you have a sequence of play calls. What do you dial up on a 1st and 25?
You're just trying to chip away, maybe get something crossing route or something to Harvin, just get a piece of it.
Tebow stands in there. Another flag comes down. And Tebow hit by a couple of Razorbacks led by Elton Ford. But a flag in that backfield in the area of holding. Well, this drive started inside the 1, and the way Florida's going, it might get back there.
You go back.
That offensive line, we've told you, they've been, they're on their 5th or 6th guard if you want to go down the depth chart.
Right.
Jim Tartt's out.
Holding. 75 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. There remains 1.
And that's the guy you don't think's going to come up with a penalty. Phil Troutwine.
Yeah, Troutwine, number 75, the left tackle, was the man called on the penalty.
They got Maurice Hurd, Marcus Gilbert, all these guys are out, and it's got to be tough to get in any kind of flow as a group.
Arkansas looking for pressure out of their front 4 here now.
1st and 35. And that pass is incomplete. Looking for Brandon James.
This is a brutal situation now as a quarterback. It's second in a lifetime here. And Tebow's got to be careful down here now. Arkansas will be breaking on everything, knowing that the first down yardage marker is way back there. They got to get out near the 49-yard line to get a first down. They'll play zone and break on everything in the secondary.
From the 14. Pass caught by Murphy. Out over the 20 to the 23-yard line.
Goes out of bounds just over 22-yard line.
Let's check in with Dave Baker. Buzz, what do you got?
Hey, Dave, at the start of this game, Florida had a lot of success running that option deal with Percy Harvin. I was looking, I'm like, why aren't they going back to that? Harvin was out. He came back in for one play, and he just went limping off the field a second ago like he couldn't go. They're checking him on the sideline. Could be a major development for the Gators.
Keep us posted on that, Buzz. Over the middle. Pass is caught by James. They get it out to the 37-yard line, but well shy of the first down. That'll bring up 4th and about 12. Jerry Franklin will get credit for the tackle.
That's the position Harvin would have been playing. Brandon James is the backup for Percy Harvin. Remember, Harvin's been bothered by the heel injury, missed the first game of the year against Hawaii because of the heel.
Chaz Henry will punt it away, and Michael Smith back to return. Wobbly kick. Smith calls for fair catch and put it on the turf, and Florida has it. Brandon James, who normally is going the other way with the football, comes up with this on punt coverage.
Well, it's a short kick because the ball doesn't turn over, so Michael Smith is running, trying to get there to make sure he doesn't lose any yardage when the ball hits the ground and just does not complete the play. Excellent coverage and hustle by Brandon James.
Boy, another turnover by Arkansas, and they are 113th in the country in that department, while Florida, even with the fumbles last week at Ole Miss, still +7 in that department. Now make it +8. Wow. Now we'll see what you do as Percy Harvin.
Now Harvin's right here, Dave, in the slot.
The heavily taped ankle. See if they get him involved on this first down. And 10 from the 17. We'll go to Tebow. And a flag comes in. For more on Percy, let's go down to Dave Baker.
Good news for Florida. It's not the heel, but he did sprain his ankle. You mentioned it was heavily taped, Dave. Dr. Pete Indelicato said he rolled the ankle. They taped it up, got him back out there. And it's just one of those things. He ought to be okay now, but the question is what happens at the half?
77 on the offense. Only 10 yards. Down lane first.
Take a look at our red zone, powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience. Last week, pretty good numbers, 5 out of 6 for the Gators.
That's solid.
Excuse me, Arkansas defense gave up 5.
Yeah, that's not what you're looking for from a defense, especially this is a sudden change situation for Willie Robinson's defense. They're going to get a little help here from the penalty. Florida's hurting themselves with penalties, but Arkansas's defense will have an opportunity to get stopped.
Penalty, there were hands to the face, which is a 15-yard foul.
Boy, this Florida offensive unit keeps backing up and backing up. Their first down that they need to try to reach is at about the 6-yard line. And more flags come in. What in the world is going on?
Little flinch from the right tackle, maybe. Jason Watkins.
Prior to the snap, false start. 77 on the offense, 35 yards. Down lane 1.
Oh, just in this series alone, Dave, if you keep the series alive with the fumble on the punt, been a number of penalties in this series.
Well, they started with 1 when they were backed up at the goal line, and you see the story now. They've had 5, and if you want to say in this drive. Here's some running room for the speedster Jeff Dent. Penalties don't matter. Touchdown Florida. 36 yards, his second rushing touchdown of the season, and that'll get a smile on the head coach's face, at least for a moment.
There's so much speed on this Florida team. Debs just finds the hole, and you see once he gets in the open field, there is no one on the field that's going to catch this kid. Good job of blocking on that left side of that offensive line.
Here's Jonathan Phillips to attempt the point after, and the turnover by Arkansas was costly. Florida takes advantage, and they run their advantage to 14 points behind the man who can run a 10.01 100 meters. Back after word from your local stations. Closed captioning is provided by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. A lot of folks out at the RV park. This isn't just a community event. This is a statewide event when the Hogs play. Caleb Sturgis to kick it off. It's a short kick. Picked up at the 15 by Dennis Johnson. Gets it out over the 20 to the 23-yard line, and a flag comes in very late. Boy, that seems like it's hard to get a playoff without a flag coming in here lately.
Jeff Demps runs for the touchdown, and then Jeff Demps makes the tackle on the kickoff. So freshman trying to contribute anywhere he can.
So now Arkansas will back up as well. See where that block came from.
During the return, illegal block by back. Number 32 on the receiving team. Penalty 10 yards. First down.
Time to update our All-Tel Text of War poll, and we're asking you which team will have more rushing yards today, and you see the results as of right now. Add your voice to the vote. Text your answer S1 or S2 to 55333. As always, thanks for participating in All-Tel's Text of War. Come on, Arkansas fans.
Pretty close now.
Get some Hog fans to get on board.
Demps tightened it up, but Michael Smith is doing a heck of a job.
Michael Smith in at tailback. A little razzle-dazzle from the Hogs. Here comes Joe Adams. He spins, stays on his feet. How about that little nifty move out to the 30-yard line? Lawrence Marsh finally brings him down, but the nice little spin move gave him the first down.
They mentioned that Adams is one of those kids that Arkansas wants to get the ball to in the open field. You see, he's one of these kids that has great speed, too. And how about this move? Great job of making one of the better tacklers in the secondary, Major Wright, miss along the sideline. Little spin move, make the safety miss, and get the first down.
That'll get Arkansas out of a little bit of trouble. Pass is caught by Smith. Slips past Spikes. He's out to the Razorback near midfield. Major Wright with his 5th tackle.
Hey, we talked in the opening that Michael Smith is going to have to be the featured guy. He's going to have to touch the ball a lot today. We've seen him run the football extremely well, but what he gets underrated for is his pass receiving skills. There's one there. We saw the big run where he almost broke this off for a touchdown game-saving tackle there, or touchdown-saving tackle. We saw his great catch on that last drive to put him up near midfield.
7.3 average per carry. Of course, he picks up 17 on that reception. 1st and 10. And this time he's dragged down by Justin Trado. The sophomore out of Ramsey, New Jersey.
Trado came on in the spring. A lot of battling going on over there. Carlos Dunlop and he battling for that job back and forth. Dunlop started a couple games. Trado has started the last 3. Dan McCarney, who came in as a coach to coach his defensive line, has done a heck of a job with that group up front. They got a lot of young players that are contributing.
They'll fake it to Smith and then throw it to him, and he slips and falls. Marky Anderson was right there on the spot. I don't know how much Smith would have gotten on that play anyway, but
it's the 3rd time Arkansas has tried to set up a screen. They've been successful only on one. One was blown up because of the rush, but they're trying to slow down the Gator pass rush or take advantage of the Gators' speed on the defensive front and use it against them with the screen pass.
How about our score out of Iowa State, Blank, and Kansas? Some of your boys.
Upset special in Ames.
Casey Dick tries to throw on the run, and it's batted out of the air by A.J. Jones. Dangerous pass by Casey.
Casey Dick pass intended for Michael Smith, incomplete.
That'll bring up a 4th down.
That was some of that pressure up front. Try to grab hold of Brandon Spikes. Boy, he's all over the field. We were on the field. They had it. You know, you see the measurables at 6'3", 245. He is a monster. He is so big.
Brandon James back to return this punt. James averaging about 15 yards per punt return. And he will field it on the run. And a bunch of flags. 3, maybe 4 over there. There have already been 12 combined penalties in this game for 98 yards, and we'll wait for this call to see if we get over the century mark with 4:25 to go here in the second quarter. Florida came in as the
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 37, the return team, penalty is 10 yards from first down.
with 32 penalties for 217 yards. That's 8th in the league. And now Florida will back up a little bit inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line, and there will be a timeout on the field with 4:25 to go here in the first half. 14-0, Florida out in front on 1st down and 10. Chris Rainey with the carry. Redshirt freshman out of Lakeland, Florida. Florida got a little bit of help on their last possession when Michael Smith coughed up the punt, but now Florida's going to have to work hard here, backed up at their own 20-yard line.
Trying to alternate some backs in for Tebow to hand it to. We've seen Demps run for the touchdown. Rainey in the backfield now. We've seen Brandon James back there. Harvin's carried it. A lot of mixing it up in the backfield with Tebow. Rainey, another one of those freshmen standing alongside Tebow that kill the distance from anywhere on the field.
And it'll be Rainey. Gets a couple on the carry. That'll bring up a 3rd down. Let's check in again with Dave Baker.
Hey, Dave, this offensive line situation for Florida is getting about dire. One of the guys they had in there today was Ron Wilson. He was an offensive lineman who played 2 years ago. He was dismissed from school last year, started the year back as a defensive lineman. He went out with a bad ankle, so now you've got 57 Carl Johnson, the backup left tackle, who's now forced to play left guard.
3rd down. That pass is caught by the tight end, Aaron Hernandez, and that's at the 30-yard line, which will move the change.
And it's great awareness by Tim Tebow. Zone coverage. Usually you'll get man coverage, tighter coverage in a 3rd down conversion situation. But a good job, Aaron Hernandez, recognizing zone, just hooks it up for his quarterback. A quick throw from Tebow, and they have the 1st down. It's a good recognition by the quarterback and the young tight end.
And now the question begs, with this offensive line kind of in the situation it is, does that mean we're going to see a lot of quick throws now? Is that the way to kind of help those guys out?
Yeah, getting the ball out of his hand a little bit. You talk about those offensive line woes, Dave. That's a great way to take care of those guys up front. Arkansas will have to tighten the coverage up, try to force him to hold on to it a little bit.
Levance Askew might have got into that neutral zone. Another one of the true freshmen that play for Bobby Petrino. And they play a ton of true freshmen.
Project snap, offside, 99 on the defense, penalty 5 yards, down remains 1st.
Go to Yahoo Sports to see over 50 Raycom Sports SEC football and basketball games, and for only $4.95 a month, you can hear thousands of audio broadcasts. Be sure and follow your team all season long at Yahoo Sports.
Arkansas doing a lot of muddy in the water, if you will, for Tebow, trying to show blitz back out, trying to change the look for him. Here they go again.
Tebow will keep it off the left side, and Gators needed 5, and I think Tebow might have gotten 5. Elton Ford comes up, another true freshman. Elton out of Alpharetta, Georgia. So they'll give him 4 3/4 of a yard. Urban Meyer laughing at the spot, I think. Thought his guy had gotten the first down, but it'll be 2nd down and inches now. Tebow will throw. Near side, Murphy makes the catch. He's out to the 49, and then a late hit will come in. Isaac Madison with the tackle, but then Jerry Franklin came in a little bit late, and a flag dropped right on that spot.
First down.
Freshman linebacker coming in trying to lay some punishment.
Look at our Hampton Hotel's upcoming schedule, and you see what's next on the horizon for Bobby Petrino. But the story here is the fact that the gauntlet of teams are running through right now, with perhaps the youngest team, one of the top 3 youngest teams in the country. Not an easy situation. Tebow hit as he throws off the fingertips of Percy Harvin. Pressure came from Dallas Washington out of a safety position.
A delayed blitz by Washington does a nice job of timing this up. Number 20, Dallas Washington coming right at you. Tebow does a good job of finding Harvin. He just couldn't be accurate with the pressure from Dallas Washington.
You know, back to that schedule for just a moment. I mean, you brought it up to Coach Petrino yesterday. He said, you know, you actually, the last 2 weeks could be playing 2 teams that might have a chance to play for a national title.
Yeah, and he was not lost on him by the look on his face.
Yeah. Tebow has time, and through the hands of Riley Cooper and then off the chest of Jerry Franklin.
Talked about how many freshmen are playing. Jerry Franklin is a guy that's going to play and have a nice career here at Arkansas, maybe a great career here at Arkansas at the linebacker spot. But you've got to be put in situations as a young player to understand how you're going to react. And that's one of those situations where you just haven't been there enough. A ball going through someone's hands, you squeeze it. Just a great job of being in the right place. Next time, maybe he squeezes it.
Well, Tim Tebow has thrown 196 passes without an interception, and easily could have stopped that streak a moment ago. And now a timeout as the play clock gets down to 1. 1:11 to go here before halftime. Back after a word from the SEC. Arkansas hanging in here with 12th ranked Florida after losing their last 2 games by a combined 77 points. And Arkansas has played pretty well today. I think, you know, offensively they've had 32 plays for 183 yards, which is 1 more yard than Florida has.
Yeah, it's been an evenly played game. The mistake on the punt return allowed Florida to get the short field, the Demps touchdown. But other than that, Arkansas has played Florida eye to eye. They've done a nice job of staying in this game, and that's really what Coach Petrino wanted, is to be in the game in the second half. And with a defensive stop here, they're going to have that.
Third down and 10. So many weapons for Florida offensively to choose from if you're Tim Tebow. This time he will short hop Lewis Murphy.
Good job of applying. They didn't get the pressure they wanted, but there was enough of a rush there that sped Tebow up a little bit on his throw, and he underthrew Murphy running the deep in route. Let's go down to Dave Baker.
Going to be interesting to see what happens with this field goal call here, Arch. I mean, the wind is still blowing, about a 1.5 wind now. Florida going into it as Arkansas was in the first quarter. And remember, with the Florida place kicking game here as of late, they've had an awful lot of low balls, and it looks like Urban Meyer with a 2-touchdown lead is going to try to play field position again.
Well, Buzz, what do you got in your hand? A wedge? Is that what you got in your hand there? Trying to make a decision?
52.
Chaz Henry will sail this into the end zone. And Arkansas will hold and get the ball out at the 20-yard line. Well, next week, be sure to join us at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central, as South Carolina takes on Kentucky. Steve Spurrier and his Gamecocks still looking for their first SEC win this season, while the Cats are undefeated and looking to repeat last year's success. That'll be 12:30 Eastern, and as always, log on to raycomsports.com and click on the Regions Bank Road Trip Planner for the quickest routes and all the info you need traveling around the SEC. Kentucky, of course, at Alabama, South Carolina at Ole Miss today.
Dave, Arkansas now in a situation where they're going to try to pick up some yardage. We got to be careful you don't throw yourself out of the game.
Here's Michael Smith. He will take it out over the 35 to the 38-yard line. Brandon Spikes makes the tackle, but another big gain for the Razorbacks.
Zone coverage just circling. Eyeballing the Spikes, eyeballing the back, coming out of the backfield, and good hustle by the big linebacker to get him on the ground. But a good job of Arkansas getting the ball in their playmaker's hand, Michael Smith.
Gain of 18, first down and 10. Casey Dick will be sacked back at the 36-yard line by Lawrence Marsh, his third sack of the season. And Arkansas will take a timeout. Second sack of the afternoon.
First timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Back after a word from the SEC. Casey Dick today, Dave Archer, 10 out of 18, 110 yards. But he's trying to dodge some of those Gator defensive players right now with 40 seconds to go before halftime.
Not a bad idea to try to find Michael Smith again coming out of the backfield on a free release.
Has time over the middle. Pass is caught. Down at the 33, Joe Adams with a big-time catch. And then he got leveled by Major Wright.
Well, it's a big-time throw, too, down the middle of the field to the seam to Joe Adams. And Adams extends and makes the catch.
A 31-yard pickup. Clock stops to set the change at 33 seconds. 2 timeouts left for the Hogs. 3-man rush. This time it's the tight end DJ Williams. He'll be stopped at the 25, and Arkansas will have to use another timeout. Brandon Hicks corrals DJ Williams.
Timeout, Arkansas. Second timeout of the half.
Let's go back to that catch by Joe Adams.
Now you get the middle of the field open. Casey Dick reads it, and this is a strong throw, maybe his best throw that we've seen him make in the 2 games we've seen, Dave. And an excellent job of the freshman receiver to go up and snag it out of the air, knowing the safety was coming to hammer him. And he's looking to the sideline. What do you want me to do? You want a timeout? You want to line up? Good job. He's had a solid game today, has Casey Dick, for Bobby Petrino.
Well, you know, once again, I mean, I look at the numbers over here. They've run 36 plays for 238 yards today.
This can have not been able to finish a drive to this point.
12 out of 20, 148 yards for Casey Dick. Casey came in to the game completing 58% of his passes, just shy of 1,000 yards. Leads the SEC in yards per game at 242. All day to throw over the middle and throws it into triple coverage. It's Joe Hayden to the 30 and run out of bounds, and a flag comes in at the 25, but Hayden picks up his first interception of the season.
He made up his mind, Dave, where he was going to go with the football in the pre-snap look. He had a similar look in the secondary with 2 deep safeties, and once he saw that they had that, he was going to try to stick the same throw down the seam, but a good job of Florida adjusting. Hayden playing the nickel spot, slid back, and was able to take away that throw. Just a poor decision.
It's 5 interceptions this season now for Casey Dick.
During the return, personal foul, number 55 on Florida, illegal contact to the head, penalty half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, a lot of times when you throw an interception, it's because of pressure. Matt Patchen, the freshman, coming, but really not enough there to take Casey Dick off of his throw. He just predetermined where he was going with the football on his pre-snap look. And just a good job of Joe Hayden. Joe Hayden's that extra defensive back. He slid in from his corner spot to play the nickel as they bring in the extra DB. And he did a good job of reading the quarterback's eyes, floating back and taking it away out of the middle.
So Florida will take a knee here and run out this clock and head to the locker room leading by a couple of touchdowns. Florida scores on their opening possession, and then we're given a gift after a Michael Smith fumble of a punt, sets up a short field, and they take it in the end zone in the second quarter. So Florida trying to rebound after that loss to Ole Miss, leading by 14. Let's go down to Dave Baker.
Urban, you had some trouble getting the rhythm you wanted on offense, but you got a big play from Demps, big play there on defense.
Yeah, we're a big play on the special teams on the turnovers, probably play the first half. So we got to settle down there. We're not playing very well, so we got to play a lot better.
Situation penalties, I know that's something you don't accept for the second straight week.
Yeah, I've never seen it like it. So we just got to settle down. We got to go play 14, not the second half, and we'll come out behind.
All right, thanks, Urban. Appreciate it. That's Urban Meyer as his Florida Gators go to the locker room with a 14-0 lead over the Arkansas Razorbacks.
SEC football is presented in high definition where available by Raycom Sports. 14-0 Florida out in front of Arkansas. Dave Baker had a chance to catch up with Bobby Petrino.
Bobby, first half again, you guys just keep the ball an awfully long time and big plays just working against you.
Yeah, we got to get the ball in the end zone. You know, I'm proud of our defense. I think they've been doing an excellent job. Offense, we're moving the ball, but we got to make a big play to get it in the end zone, and we got to take care of it when we have scoring opportunities.
All right, thanks, Bobby. Best of luck to you. That's Bobby Petrino, Dave. Of course, the Gators won the opening toss. They deferred, so Florida gets the football to start the second half.
Well, it'll be important for Arkansas to come back out and play the same kind of defense they played in the first half.
Well, just like every week, Rascal Flatts open the telecast with their hit Bob That Head from the album Still Feels Good. Boys are off the road this week getting ready for their October 8th party for kids at the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt. Their October 17th concert at the Sommet Center in Nashville will benefit the hospital. This is the fourth year of this event. They've raised over, get this, $2.2 million for the hospital. Great job by Gary LaVox, Joe Don Rooney, and Jay DeMarcus. I mean, raising that kind of money. Can't even fathom it. Of course, we're still trying to sell some tickets for that Tennessee-Alabama weekend. October 24th up in Knoxville for those guys playing at the Thompson Bowling Arena. Maybe wherever we'll be, we'll just go to the concert on Friday night, and then we'll head to whatever game we got to go to.
You can bet if we're close, we'll be there.
Yeah. Look at the first half possessions for Bobby Petrino's Arkansas offense, and you heard him saying that, you know, they need success, whatever that is, and I think at this point it's got to be points.
Well, it is, and because they have that marginal success, Dave, of moving the ball down near the red zone, but once they get down there, they've either turned the football over or have not been able to convert on downs to keep a drive alive.
Jeremy Davis will kick it off for the Hogs. Riley Cooper and James back to return the kick. It's Brandon James. He's got room. He's at the 30. Brandon James at the 40. Brandon James will outrun the field, but there are plenty of flags back around midfield. It'll go 94 yards, but that was just practice, I believe.
Boy, that kid is something in the open field.
Urban Meyer talked to Dave Baker right before halftime about penalties. His quote was, "I've never seen anything like it."
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 50 for the return team, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Boy, a couple of blocks in the back. And
there's one there, and there's a block there on the kicker in the back. So pretty easy calls for the officials there. But Brandon James came in averaging 31 yards a return, and he is so dangerous. Of course, that label is attached to about 6 or 7 Gators when they step on the field. They're so dangerous.
But still pretty good field position for Florida on their opening drive here in the second half. They'll set up shop at the 34-yard line. Kibo will keep it near side. Picks up 8 on that, but talk about Brandon James already. His success story this year in terms of returning kicks is been well documented. Only player in the nation to have 2 punt returns for touchdowns. First was a 74-yarder in the game we did against Hawaii, and then that second one came up in Knoxville in front of 100,000 folks 3 weeks later as the junior ran one back 78 yards for the score in the win against Tennessee. 4 returns for touchdowns, tied for Jaquez Green for the school record, and it's 2 off the SEC record set by Derek Abney. Second down, the Gators will throw it. Pass is caught. Deontay Thompson, freshman out of Belgrade, Florida, with his first catch of the game.
Well, I like that play call. Dan Mullen comes out with some different looks. That time the play action fake, and immediately Tebow hits the shot outside on the move. They're going to try to mix things up a little bit more. Get Tebow moving, throwing the ball. You've seen him run it already in this series. That time throwing the ball on the move. He is a really good play caller. I think he is underrated when it comes to coaching in the country. Dan Mullen.
Yeah, certainly a sharp offensive mind. As Tebow with a sharp arm, incomplete down around the 5-yard line, looking for Lewis Murphy.
He's late on the throw. Davis is a straight go route outside for Murphy, and it's one after the play fake that he's got to let it go early. The ball's underthrown a little bit. Murphy can run now. You got to get the ball out there and let him run with it. Jamar Love on the coverage.
Go back to Dan Mullen for a second. Talking to him about last week, the 4th and 1 that they were stuffed, and so many people can go back after the call. But what if you don't get it and you called a different play? I mean, wouldn't you be kicking yourself saying, I've got the Heisman Trophy winner back there and I didn't use him?
No question.
Look at Percy Harvin pick up the first down.
But you've already seen a couple of different wrinkles, adjustments. They've noticed that Arkansas stacking it inside, trying to stop the run. So let's get it on the edge to our playmakers real quickly. Got it outside to Harvin. Harvin's been quiet, but he's a guy that can kill you in a heartbeat.
Jeff Dimps in the backfield alongside Tebow. Dimps gets the carry. Jerry Franklin among the Arkansas defenders. Hit on that tackle. That'll bring up a second down and we'll say 5. Talking to Dan Mullen. Without Emmanuel Moody here, he's got a bad ankle, sprained it last week. You want to use Percy Harvin as much as you can, but you can't use him on every play.
Right.
You don't want Tebow running the ball 25 times. So, Dimps and Rainey are guys that need to step up and get some more carries, and we've seen that here today.
Yeah, they've done a nice job of mixing it around.
Tebow gets 3.5. That'll set up a third down and about 1.5 yards.
Tebow shows the quick look to Harvin in the slot, which makes the linebackers freeze just a count. All you're trying to do is freeze those linebackers a count so the line can get out onto that second level and get them blocked, and then hit it up in there for a nice gain for Tebow.
Tebow's a guy that carried it 16 times a game last year. He's down to 12 times a game. Do you think he needs to run a little bit more out of the pocket?
I think that he needs to, if he does anything downfield, take off. He's so dangerous, but he's done such a great job of staying in there and trying to make a play at the last minute. He's taking away some of his own runs.
Stopping Chris Rainey. Adrian Davis from his defensive end picks up his 4th tackle of the game, and now it's 4th down and about a yard, maybe, call it a yard.
And ironically enough, Dave, this is about how long the play was against Ole Miss. The 4th down play that Ole Miss was able to stop. This has traditionally been the play where they put Tebow in the gun and they run the power off tackle play with Tebow.
Harvin's in the slot to the far side. Tebow will take the snap and he will bull his way inside the 25. Elton Ford in on the tackle for Arkansas. Last week, this was Tim Tebow carrying the football and had a couple of touchdowns, but his numbers were not that great when you factor in the sacks. 15 carries, just 7 yards.
Yeah, he was sacked 3 times last week, Dave, which took away. And here was the big play. There was the big play by Ole Miss. You see the win on the edge. And a lot of times you say, well, you got to execute. You make a call, just like on the last play the Florida executed to get the first down. They did not against Ole Miss in that situation.
That time Arkansas executed. Big Malcolm Shepard. Tebow never saw him coming.
Well, he split through at the defensive tackle spot. It's Shepard's first sack on the year. And he just swam to the inside of Troutwine and got the hit. Troutwine expected some help to the inside from the guard, and he didn't get it. Shepard cashed it in.
Almost looked like Troutwine was pushing him to somebody else. I thought he had some inside help there, and it wasn't. Pressure again. Tebow. Pass is that caught? It was between the legs of Lewis Murphy. They'll say incomplete. Pressure came from Jericho Nelson.
You mentioned Jericho Nelson earlier in the game, Dave, and he's a guy that's an undersized guy that they like to use in the secondary and at linebacker. He's a really good blitzer. In fact, he comes into the game with 2 sacks from that blitzing linebacker spot. Undersized guy, but he has tremendous feel for timing and getting off on the blitz.
3rd down and 16 now for Florida. Tebow over the middle, has his tight end, Aaron Hernandez, but that's not even close to the first down marker.
Hernandez, solid receiver from the inside. Just hooks up in the zone. Arkansas was going to give up that throw and then rally up and make the tackle. Good job.
So Urban Meyer will bring out the field goal unit. Jonathan Phillips is long this year, 40. This one is from 37. Kick is up, and it is right down the middle. So Jonathan Phillips now 5 out of 5 on the year in the field goal department, and Florida's lead is 17. 17-0, Florida out in front of Arkansas. 9:17 to go in the 3rd quarter. Taking a look at our Texas Speed scoring drive. Ended in a Jonathan Phillips 37-yard field goal. One of the things Urban Meyer, especially going into last week, a topic of conversation among Urban Meyer and his coaches and Florida fans in general, lack of plays. They were averaging in the neighborhood of 47 to 48 plays per game. Today, the Gators have rattled off 40. Dennis Johnson, the true freshman, out near midfield. Nice return. Joe Hayden finally brings him down. Johnson averaging 23 yards per kickoff return. 10th in the SEC, but that'll go up after this.
Well, this is something that Ole Miss had some success with, and Mike Wallace on the kickoff returns last week, and this is just great effort. That's just destroyed.
Caleb Sturge is the kicker.
Well, James Smith helps get in on the tackle, Dave.
And speaking of James Smith, we'll have more on him in just a second. But first, the Hogs and Casey Dick will drop back. Pass is caught. And some running room for London Crawford inside the 40. That'll be a first down. And it's time for our Suzuki Way of Life. And it is on James Smith, a special teams performer for this Florida team. And, well, his way of life was nothing like my way of life. 3.5 GPA in kinesiology. Young man, an excellent student, contributor on this Florida Gator football team in different ways on the special teams, also a long snapper. Here's Michael Smith. Gets a couple on the play, brought down by Jermaine Cunningham.
Arkansas is getting a lot of mileage, Dave, out of the little crossing route. London Crawford again catching the little crossing route. We've seen Joe Adams. Arkansas now in Gator territory trying to push one through.
1st and 10 line brought to you by IKVI Incorporated, IGBY, building vision, building relationships. DJ Williams will move from the left side to the right side. Michael Smith, the tailback. Look at the handoff. Dancing around through that line down to the 33-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down, and we'll say 4, maybe 5, depending on that spot.
I'm amazed by this kid here, Dave. 5'7", 175, got great vision. Look at him battling in there, taking shots. He walked in the room, and I thought, who's this guy walking in the room? Your little brother walked in the room. It was amazing, the size of this kid, but you can't measure the kid's heart. He's got a big one. 5 of 6 possessions today have gotten inside Florida territory, but no points to show for it. Well, it's certainly not what you're looking for, and they've got to find a way to change that. Somebody's going to have to step up and make a play.
They roll the pocket to the left and hit Joe Adams, and they will spot his full press down to about the 27-yard line, and they'll move the chains. Janoris Jenkins picks up the tackle for the Gators.
I really like this kid here, Davey. He understands the coverage there. He's one of those young kid, again, learning the game, having to learn the game on the job. But he understood zone there. He slid, found an open spot for Casey Dick to get him the football.
Nice grab again by Joe Adams. Inside the 15, down to the 11-yard line. Major Wright runs him out of bounds, but a nice one-handed grab by the true freshman who might be having his coming out party here on television.
Well, mention the fact that somebody needed to make a play. This is a ball that has been dropped a number of times for Arkansas, but Adams reaches up, snags it out of the air, and takes a big hit at the end. But that's a tough assignment for a linebacker to be locked on Adams.
First down at the 11. Here's Williams inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. Give him 5 on that play. Joe Hayden with the tackle. Here's a look at the red zone, powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience.
Well, the Hogs are going to have to. Their only number they're concerned about right now is the 6 yards in front of them. That's the only number they're concerned about, and they want to cover it right here.
Play clock now at 10. Here's Smith off the right side. He's got room. Touchdown, Arkansas.
We mentioned a couple of guys needed to step up and make some plays for Arkansas to get on the board. This guy's been strong all day. Great job of getting a push. No Gator defender shows up as Michael Smith gets down the field. You see Cunningham gets ridden out of the play by DJ Williams, the tight end. And an excellent job of getting it in the end zone. But credit Joe Adams. 2 big catches in that drive. The London Crawford grab was able to extend it and put him in the end zone.
Michael Smith from 6 yards out makes it a 17-7 game. Back after word from your local stations. Arkansas gets on the board. As you look at our Texas Pete scoring drive, 53 yards, and Michael Smith with that 6-yard touchdown run. He is having a wonderful afternoon today, is Michael Smith. Jeremy Davis will kick it off. Riley Cooper and Brandon James back to return. James took it 94 yards his last return, but a block in the back, actually a couple of them, brought the football back. See what he does here. This time they wrap up the youngster at the 25-yard line. Let's go back to the Arkansas touchdown.
Dave, here's DJ Williams, the leading receiver for Arkansas. He's the tight end. He's going to get the block on Jermaine Cunningham. You've got to get some movement on the edge. There's the block. Great job of getting the block. Here's DJ Williams here, 45 blocking Jermaine Cunningham, the big defensive end. And a good job of pushing the edge off. So Michael Smith had easy running room and snuck it in the end zone from 6 yards.
touchdown was the first offensive touchdown by Arkansas in almost 7 quarters. Percy Harvin. He'll pick up about 3 on that carry. Tim Tebow today, 12 completions. Tim Tebow has also carried the football 8 times today.
I think Tim has been much more accurate throwing the football today. He's had some heat on him. He's taking care of the football. And as we never doubted ever, Tim Tebow came to play today.
12 out of 20 for 134 yards. Remember, those sack yards also included in his rushing total. He will hand it off to Jeff Demps. Demps already with a 36-yard touchdown run today.
Tebow is surrounded by lightning in the backfield. Jeff Demps, you mentioned he's a world-class sprinter. And the other guy on the other side's not bad. Harvin standing on the other side. I mean, just blazing speed back there that if you give them a crease, they're going to go to the house.
Can't overlook Chris Rainey as well. This time it's Demps. He may have lost. Actually, they'll spot his forward progress. They'll give him a yard. Malcolm Shepard led the charge for Arkansas.
Arkansas is doing a good job of swelling up in the middle. Really, that's what you got to do at defensive tackle. You got to eat up people, and if you have a gap, you can crease. We've seen Shepard crease a gap twice now here in the second half. Good job there making the play.
So Percy Harvin and Jeff Demps leave. James comes back on the field. David Nelson also out there, top of your screen. 3 receivers to the top, 1 to the near side. Tebow will keep it on second down. Out over the 40 to the 44-yard line. He will be about 1.5 yards shy of the first down.
Tebow's looking to the sideline. When they go to that empty set, what has Arkansas done to respond to the empty set? Have they widened their inside defenders, the linebackers, or if the nickelbacks on the field, have they widened to provide a blocking advantage for the Gators? That time they did. Urban signaled in that he wanted to run, and Tebow hit it up through the middle.
3rd down and 1. Florida on 3rd downs today, 2 out of 8. Well, they were 1 out of 11 yesterday, last Saturday on 3rd downs, and now they're 2 out of 9 today.
Well, Tebow's just hollering at Urban Meyer to let him go, but he's not going to do it.
Boy, 3 for 20 in the last game and a half for Florida on 3rd down.
Now Brandon James is in the game, so you have to be careful about a fake. He's one of the short guys.
Yep, there it is. Brandon James has it. 1st down. Urban Meyer has been perfect on his fake punts at Florida.
Well, it's a great job of Brandon. You remember Brandon James recovered the punt, so he's on the unit. It's not a mistake that he's in there. He normally is a gunner to the outside. When he lined up in the backfield, you had to know that it was going to be a fake at that point. Brandon James, number 25, just a straight snap. Very similar play that they would call with Tebow at quarterback, only with the punt unit on the field.
Here's Harvin. He gets hit, run out of bounds. Wendell Davis with his 2nd tackle.
We talked about how effective Harvin was last week, and he's been a little bit more quiet today. Credit the Arkansas defense. When we talked to Willie Robinson, the defensive coordinator, he said, we've got to find number 1. They've done a pretty good job of hemming Percy Harvin in.
Second down and 5. Tebow will keep it.
Just Old-fashioned smash-mouth football here, Dave, just from a different formation. Just lining up in the gun and trying to read. That's all Tebow's doing, is trying to read the edge block, and whether he's going to hand it off, just triple option stuff for him.
Boy, a little different scenario than a week ago, but not nearly the touches for Percy Harvin. Of course, Dave Baker telling us early in the first quarter he left after twisting an ankle. You wonder how much of an impact that's had. Here's Tebow. He will pick up the first down on 3rd and about a yard. You know, we started our telecast with a soundbite from Tim Tebow last week after the game as Harvin comes back on the field. He had a press conference, and they even had to wait a little extra for Tim to kind of calm down after the loss. It was so devastating to him. He answers a few questions. He walks out of the press room, and then he says, you know what, I got one more thing to say. And he comes back and says, I will promise you that no team will work any harder than this team. No player will work any harder than I will. And this guy is a machine when it comes to football. And then he just threw it away. Right into the hands of Jerry Franklin, and that snaps his interception-less streak.
Well, I thought that maybe after grounding it out on the ground that Dan Mullen would take a shot, and he did. He had Percy Harvin lined up in the slot. Harvin runs up the sideline, and if Tebow puts air on this ball, Harvin is all alone for a touchdown, but he throws it flat. Good read by Jerry Franklin, the linebacker, to try to get out underneath, and he does a great job of picking it off. So a big play for the Razorback defense.
204 passes.
Tebow got blocked on that play, too, at the end, and kind of hobbled to the sideline.
But Jerry Franklin had an interception in his hands moments ago in this game, and in a big 3rd down situation, he dropped it. This time he comes back and makes the play. But 204 passes without an interception has come to a close for Tim Tebow. Here's Casey Dick. Flag down on the far side at the line of scrimmage. And you talked to Charlie Strong in our meetings about quick change defense. Last week they had to come on the field quickly after 2 fumbles in the second half. And he said they gave up 10 points. He was not happy with that. See how this defense comes back after a quick change situation here.
Not enough men on the line of scrimmage against the offense. The penalty declined. 2nd down.
Let's go down to Dave Baker.
Hey, Dave, that right there, I think you saw the inner struggle that goes on with Bobby Petrino. You know, he loves to be aggressive in situations like that, but he talked yesterday about running the clock, and sometimes when he puts Casey Dick in aggressive situations, he gets overly aggressive. So he's trying to find out what the right fit is right here as he's very much in this game.
That pass is caught by Crosby Tuck.
Well, it's an excellent catch, too. The kind of catches you have to make. Crosby Tuck reaches out and sucks it in for a completion to make it a 3rd and medium situation. And so many different things, Dave, come in available as your play caller.
Well, that'll do it for the 3rd quarter. Arkansas has the football. 17-7, the Gators out in front. We will return to Reynolds Razorback Stadium after word from your local stations. Closed captioning provided by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. 8th meeting between these two clubs. Florida's won 6 in a row. First meeting happened way back in 1982 at the Blue Bonnet Bowl. Arkansas won that game 28-24. A lot of Gator fans make the trip to Fayetteville today. Loose football, they'll say it was caught. Will they? Yeah, they'll say it was caught and fumbled. They'll mark it back at the 35-yard line. Michael Smith had his hands on it.
This is one they're going to have to look at here. Obviously, every play is reviewed. They got the screen set up to Michael Smith. Well, it's a bang-bang play. A.J. Jones comes up and makes the hit right at the end of it.
Look at our Raycom stats through 3 quarters.
Previous play is under further review.
Total yards, almost 300 in the game for Arkansas against this Gator defense that came in Giving up about 241. That was 17th in the country, but today Arkansas has moved the football up and down the field, but only one touchdown to show for it. But here's that play again.
It certainly looked like he had control of the football. He caught it, took a step, and then A.J. Jones comes up and just a quick screen. Good job of Florida being there on top of the play. A.J. Jones the hit. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good call. I don't think they're going to change. I don't see anything there that would change that. Dave, you mentioned the Gator fans that come all the way from Gainesville for the game. 2 charter planes came in, and about 300, just over 300 Gators came in to watch this game today.
This Arkansas team has been hit in the chops a couple of times the last 2 weeks between Alabama and Texas. And take a look at this one more time. But talking to Bobby Petrino, saying they've had a really good week of practice, and how he's had to not only be a football coach, but he's almost had to be a psychologist with so many young guys on this football team. You need to keep them kind of motivated in a lot of ways when things don't go their way. And this is, our Chick-fil-A nugget kind of tells the story about where Arkansas is with these 16 true freshmen playing. Florida State and Miami lead the way. Alabama not far behind with 15, but most of the guys that he's brought in here, these true freshmen, had unbelievable high school careers and came from very successful programs. And to get beat by a combined 77 points in the last 2 weeks can be hard to swallow.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It was a catch and a fumble. 4th down.
Well, this football season, it's all about you. 10 friends in a private jet. Enter the Alltel My Circle Gridiron Getaway for your chance to take 10 friends on a private jet to any regular season game. The ultimate VIP experience. So for your chance to win, text SEC to 57533 or visit alltelfootball.com. 4th down, and the Hogs would punt it away. Brandon James says get away as the ball rolls inside the 20, and it'll be stopped down about the 17-yard line. So a good kick off the foot of Jeremy Davis. We'll have Florida inside their 20 when we come back. The Gators out in front by 10. 17-7. Florida over Arkansas. 4th quarter football. 14:41 to go as the sun breaks out here in the Ozarks. Here goes Chris Rainey close to the 1st down. I think they'll give it to him out over the 27-yard line.
Arkansas did such a good job of crashing down inside. That time Tebow decided to hand. We haven't seen him hand off a lot on the sweep. The time he's sweeping around the edge was Rainey. Picked up a nice gain. Actually got the 1st down.
First and 10. Tebow will work out of the shotgun again. Over the middle, Lewis Murphy to the 47-yard line. Ramon Broadway brings him down, but another Gator 1st down.
Again, trying to take advantage of the fact that they've run the ball so well. Tebow ducks to the inside. Arkansas comes with more than just 4 that time. Had 6 in the rush. That meant there was an open area for them to throw the football into, and Tebow found the hole.
Here goes Rainey inside Arkansas territory. He picks up 7 before he's knocked out of bounds, but a flag down. This has been a brutal day in terms of penalties. 17 combined penalties today, and this will make 18.
Not enough men on the line of scrimmage against the offense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remains first.
Geico was canvassing the country this year to get the fans input on all the best moments of the 2008 football season. For tour updates, tour schedules, and your chance to take the Geico Best of 2008 fan poll, check out bestofcollegesports.com.
Razorbacks have taken away the inside run, Dave, and they forced Florida to try to run it on the edge.
Right on cue, they take away that inside run again, this time from Jeff Demps.
They're doing a good job with their linebackers of running through and making plays on that inside run. They're getting downhill right away. That time Wendell Davis steps up and gets in on the tackle. What Florida's done, though, to counter is they've run the sweep. Got a good sweep out of Rainey early in the drive, and then the one called back on the penalty just a moment ago.
So
here's Percy Harvin right here, Dave.
In the slot. That pass is caught, good enough for the first down. Out to the 40-yard line. Lewis Murphy with another grab today. Lewis has 5 catches. He has been a big factor in the pass game from home Broadway with another tackle.
Looking down the field, reading coverage, and then sticks Murphy on that in route on the backside. Buzz, I've noticed that Harvin just kind of limping around, almost a decoy. Are you seeing that down on the sideline?
Yeah, you know, he's still favoring that right ankle an awful lot. But then again, you know how those receivers are. They act like they can hardly get up the field, and then all of a sudden they run by somebody.
Tebow to throw, and this pass is caught down around the 21 by Deontay Thompson.
They're using Harvin to spread the formation. Harvin split wide left. Here comes some more pressure. Good job of Carl Johnson sliding to the outside and picking up the pressure of Beckett. And then the throw from Tebow to Murphy. Murphy sliding and making the catch.
Well, first down and 10 for Florida. Tebow again. Over the middle, pass is caught. Touchdown, Florida. Percy Harvin.
Don't fall asleep. Harvin had run 3 consecutive routes where he was inside the slot and just released in the flat and kind of limped out there. This time releases straight up the field and gets in the void in the 2-deep zone. Little play fake, freezes the linebackers and creates a great throwing lane. Harvin's there.
Third touchdown reception for Percy Harvin. That one went 21 yards. There's Jonathan Phillips for the point after. It is up and good. Tebow on that drive, folks. 4 out of 4 for 74 yards. I think he answered the interception resoundingly. Back in a moment. (24-7), Florida stretches their lead. Look at our Texas Pete scoring drive, and 21-yard touchdown reception by Percy Harvin caps off the 83-yard drive. But once again, Tim Tebow flawless, 4 out of 4 for 74 of those 83 yards. Caleb Sturgis to kick it away. Dennis Johnson back to return this kick that will sail out of bounds. Arkansas will take the football back at the 40-yard line. As Penn looks over to that Arkansas bench.
First down.
All season long, Champion Apparel will be showcasing the tradition and history of the SEC. And today we visit the Senior Walk here on the Arkansas campus. The walk is right up the hill from Razorback Stadium. The path is paved with the names of every graduate since 1905. It contains over 150,000 names on the sidewalk, stretching over 5 miles. That's our champion, how you play. Now, you know, earlier, freshmen weren't allowed to walk on the path until after Thanksgiving, unless the Hogs won the homecoming game.
It's a beautiful campus in the rolling hills here, Northwest Arkansas.
First down and 10. Casey Dick steps up in the pocket, fires a bullet behind his receiver. And had a little too much zip on that as he was looking for Joe Adams.
And he's talking to his young receiver. And this is part of the education that goes on with the receivers. You got a senior quarterback expects you to be in a certain hole. Well, these receivers still learning what coverage is. They were in high school last year. That time Joe Adams was not on the same page with his quarterback.
Casey Dick, 8 of his last 11 throwing the football. He is 18 out of 29 for 185 yards this afternoon. There's Michael Smith. He's got plenty of room. Michael Smith down to the 41 of Florida. Joe Hayden brings him down. And there have been some opportunities for Michael Smith today to pick up some big chunks of yardage.
Good job. It caught him in the blitz. Look at the nice little crease here, and then the lineman pulling through to take care of his running back. That's Grayson out in front. Good job of running by Michael Smith.
Smith now up over 100 yards, 16 carries, 100 and a lot of movement by that Gator defense up front. And Smith will hit him for about 6 down to the 35. Joe Hayden with his 8th tackle today. He also has an interception this afternoon.
Hayden's playing in the inside, Dave, in that nickel set. He slides inside. Marky Anderson comes in as the extra corner. And so Joe ends up being counted as a linebacker when you start counting all the defenders on the field. He's done a nice job of trying to help out against the run.
Michael Smith said he knew that this offense was going to rely on him today. Casey Dick throws it back across the middle. That'll be close to the first down around the 31. London Crawford with the grab. Brandon Spikes with the tackle.
Hey, that's one of those examples where Casey's starting to roll right, and the natural progression for a quarterback's eyes is to go that way. Michael Smith's in the right flat for him. He can get him the ball right away, but he swiveled his head back inside where there's a lot of danger. London Crawford makes the catch for him. A lot of traffic back in there.
Boy, Michael Smith has been a big part of this offense as he has carried the ball 17 times. He also has 6 grabs.
Razorback coaches said that if we're going to be successful offensively, Michael Smith has to touch the ball early and often, and he has. And the young man has held up. Done an outstanding job, and here's his TD punched across in the 3rd quarter.
So 3rd down and about 6 inches. They will throw it. They will hit Jermaine Love out of the backfield. The fullback will have the grab and the first down at the 25-yard line.
Good execution that time by Arkansas. The play fake at the fullback and flat. You make that call because you know you're going to go for it on 4th down. Probably going to be a quarterback sneak if you don't complete that pass.
Clock goes under 10 minutes to play in this one. Here's Smith. He's still driving down to the 11-yard line. Major Wright will get credit for the tackle, but a first down for Arkansas.
Well, it's been impressive, this Arkansas offensive line run blocking. Outstanding job of pulling up in the hole. Grant Cook and gets a good block. As DJ Williams, there's the tight end working against that defensive end. He and Jermaine Cunningham had quite a battle, and DJ's done a nice job controlling the big defensive end for the Gators.
There's Smith. Stuffed on first down. Michael Smith's got to be getting a little winded at this point as Freeman holding that left shoulder. Take a look at our red zone, powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience. Today, Arkansas's offense only one time in that red zone. They made Florida pay, but just not enough trips in there. They've been stuck between the 20 and the 35 today.
Yeah, turned it over on downs a couple times, had to punt from inside Florida territory early in the game.
Casey Dick pass is caught his tight end Williams, and he's slammed to the ground by Brant Spikes. Spikes now with 7 tackles today, the team leader with 41 this season. Boy, Spikes is just a, I mean, he is, you mentioned it, 6'3", 245, but you see those numbers, but it's, you don't appreciate his size until you see him down there with the other linebackers.
He's a beast.
He runs a 4.6 40.
Yeah. Packs a punch, too. I would think if you're Arkansas, you're trying to get the ball either here to Michael Smith or Joe Adams. Joe Adams, a third inside receiver in the slot.
Smith gets in, and he's hit again. Nothing happening, and now you're looking at a 4th down situation. And Bobby Petrino will quickly send out his field goal unit. And here comes Shea Haddock. He'll spot the ball at about the 19-yard line, so a 29-yarder for Shea. Made his only field goal attempt last week. It was against Texas, 30 yards. And that kick is blocked, and it goes through the back of the end zone. Ahmad Black with the block.
Arkansas too soft in protection. Black was blew right through the middle to knock it down.
Well, the Gator defense stands tall. Florida leads at 24-7. Today's game is brought to you by Alltel, the official wireless partner of fans. 24-7, Florida wins after blocking a kick. Coach Urban Meyer says you win 90% of your games when you block a kick. The Gators under Meyer are 14-1 when they block a kick, which they just did moments ago. Here's Percy Harvin, gets a couple on the carry, but let's go back to that block field goal attempt.
Yeah, here's Lawrence Marsh right here. He's going to blow up the guard, but the block comes from right out here. Ahmad Black going to jump through between the wing and the tight end, jumps through and gets his left hand on the ball. Bats it down.
14-1 when they block a kick. And he preaches it all the time about blocking kicks. It's a big part of the game. It says teams win 90% of the time. Here's Brandon James. He gets hit hard about the 27, 28-yard line. By the way, I just noticed Percy Harvin limping off the field moments ago over there, that Florida bench. He's down on it. He just popped up. He was on one knee. And he is being looked at by that Florida training staff right now.
You never can tell. He's a tough kid, but certainly would make sense for Florida not to bring Percy Harvin back in the game.
You can see our Academy Sports down and distance marker. 3rd down and 1. And Tim Tebow, they needed to get it out to the nose of the ball to the 30. And that spot looks like they'll give it to him.
It's another nice play, though, by Adrian Davis coming in on the edge. Make the play there to get to Tebow.
Let's go check in with Dave Baker. Buzz, what do you know about Percy?
Well, he rolled that ankle in the first half. Dr. Pete Indelicato said, you know, he just rolled it. They taped it up. You know, they're going to let him go as long as he feels like he can go. And like I said, there's that fine line between whether or not he's hurting and how much he's using it to deke a defensive back. But both teams in a situation here, Dave, where neither team has that big back that can really take over a game in a situation like this when you're really looking to run the clock.
That's so true. You want to salt the game away with your running game, and that makes it very difficult when you don't have the big pounder.
Dead ball. Play of the game. On the offense. Only 5 yards. Down remains 1.
The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Raycom Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Raycom Sports is prohibited. But, you know, they were hoping Emmanuel Moody would be that guy. He's not playing with a bad ankle. Keyston Moore's another big back, but he's got a little tweaked hamstring. We haven't seen him all day. So your biggest back you got is your quarterback. He will hand it off to the speedster Chris Rainey, and we'll get a look at his speed. Chris Rainey down to the 5. Touchdown. Jamar Love had an angle on him, but just couldn't catch him. 75 yards. Well, if you don't have the big back, give it to the fast one.
They got a whole bunch of those. Rainey again, another guy with blinding speed. What a great move. And then once they get out in space, they're just not really, this is a tremendous effort. I love to try to get there to make the play, but Rainey gets in the end zone, and another big play by one of their big play backs. Both Demps and Rainey with long touchdown runs today.
Demps from 36, and Rainey goes 75.
Kid rushed for almost 2,500 yards his senior year at Lakeland High School in Florida, and 32 TDs. He has a good idea of where the end zone is.
That point after is up and good, and Florida puts 31 on the board. Boy, they would have loved to have had 31 last week. 31-7, Florida out in front, 5:07 to go. SEC football is brought to you in part by Chevrolet. The Gators have just opened this one up, 31-7 behind Chris Rainey, 75-yard touchdown run. A redshirt freshman with his second rushing touchdown of the season. That scoring drive.
It's a quick strike.
They have that capability. I mean, you just wonder sometimes, where does it go? Dennis Johnson will take a knee 2 yards deep. Let's go back to that 75-yard touchdown run.
Well, when you have speed, Dave, you've got to tackle with leverage. And I want you to watch this as we roll this. We're going to get to where Rainey spins. Okay, now freeze it, guys. Now, Arkansas's got leverage. You got a defender here, 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 and here. But the speed kills him because he bounces. Arkansas loses leverage. And there he goes to the sideline. It becomes a punt return at that point defensively. And you've got to tackle, when you gang tackle, have to keep that leverage, outside, inside leverage. And they did not do that.
I was impressed with Jamar Love's speed.
Yeah.
Didn't have much of an angle, but still able to at least get a hold of Rainey. Flag comes down that offensive backfield, probably in the area of holding. No surprise here. There's a yellow flag on the field. This will be penalty number 20 in the game between the two clubs.
Hold 72 on the offense. Penalty 10 yards. Number 1.
Don't forget, next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, we will head to Lexington. Steve Spurrier and the Gamecocks look for their first SEC win this season, while the Cats are undefeated and looking to repeat last year's success. That's 12:30 Eastern. By the way, South Carolina leading Ole Miss right now in Oxford in the third quarter. Don't forget, you can get the latest on SECRoadTripPlanner.com. Find the quickest routes and all the info you need traveling around the SEC, provided by Regions Bank. J.C. Dix passes batted down by Brandon Spikes in the middle. Last update.
Spikes in the middle. Just follows the quarterback's eyes, gets up, elevates, bats the ball down.
Got an update. Ole Miss now out in front, 21-17.
Some big games across the SEC. Those two teams meeting for the first time since 1984. And of course, Vandy later on tonight against Auburn, trying to go 5-0 for the first time since 1943.
It'll be interesting to see how Kentucky handles Alabama. Kentucky hasn't really played anybody, obviously, with Alabama's credentials as of yet. But Louisville's a team that they hit pretty good early on, and Louisville's gone to win some big football games. Let's check in with Dave Baker.
Hey, Dave, something we haven't mentioned yet. I think you got to take your hat off to what Charlie Strong and the Florida defense have done. He said that early on this week, he said we're going to find out what we're made of. They were absolutely stunned at some of the things that happened last week. He's gotten that group back together, although he doesn't have some of the guys out there that he normally has. They've been able to put some pressure on, and now they're looking to salt this one away.
You see last week what happened. J.C. Dick will stand in that pocket. Jarius Wright makes the catch out over the 20 to the 22-yard line.
It's a situation where Florida will just play zone, allow the underneath throw, so the numbers will get a little skewed. But in talking about what Buzz was talking about, the defense allowed over 200 yards in the first half. Arkansas moved it up and down the field, but they did a great job here in the second half. They've limited Arkansas to just about 100 yards of offense here in the second half and really limited what they're able to do.
Well, Charlie Strong, of course, coming back home. He's a native of Batesville, Arkansas. Played his college ball at Central Arkansas. Here's Brandon James dancing around. See this a lot. Out over the 40 to the 42-yard line with 3:33 to play. And flags come in a little bit late. Surprisingly, shocked that there's a flag on the field at this point. It's been such a clean game.
Yeah, Penn and his crew have earned their money today.
During the returns, personal foul, number 5 on the receiving team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, John Brantley comes in to be quarterback for this Gator team. Tim Tebow will call it an afternoon. Let's go down to Dave Baker.
Arch, all these penalties and everything, I mean, these are two coaches that are extremely buttoned up on the fundamentals and everything. I think it's got to be injuries where guys are playing out of position and young guys who haven't been in games like this before. But it's just absolutely unacceptable on both sides. Yeah,
it's been sloppy, mainly in the special teams area, and that's an area that, you know, Urban is very close and involved with coaching. And you go back, though, in history, though, Florida over the last couple of years has been a team that's been penalized quite a bit.
John Brantley in at quarterback, the redshirt freshman out of Ocala, Florida. Handed off to Chris Rainey. Of course, John Brantley considered one of the top quarterbacks in the entire country coming out of high school.
Good job by Jerry Franklin to snake in there. David, you're talking about John Brantley. Brantley had a heck of a career as a high school player.
Gatorade National Player of the Year in 2006.
I believe he actually broke Tim Tebow's record, didn't he?
99 touchdowns passes. Tebow had 98. You don't think
they're talking about that?
Here goes Rainey. Not much room. Wendell Davis with 9 tackles today. Backup linebacker getting some work. I don't say backup anymore. He'll be playing a lot of snaps. Tim Tebow, your thoughts? You know, we talked about the emotional drain that loss was for him and his comments. He seemed just tremendously upset, but how do you think he responded?
Oh, I thought he responded extremely well. He's just so focused. I think that what Urban Meyer wants him to do, though, is he wants him to enjoy playing. I don't think he wants to get so caught up in mistakes that were made. Just go play and have fun. I thought we saw that as he came off the field after he threw the touchdown to Percy Harvin. Urban Meyer actually ran out and banged into him. I mean, he wants him to enjoy it. Buzz, it looked like that Tebow started to kind of get into the game emotionally a little bit later and kind of enjoy it a little bit.
You know, Arch, I think one of the things about it is, you know, Tebow talked about carrying so much on his shoulders. I don't think there's anybody in college football that carries anymore. I mean, he's running that read option. He's their short yardage big back because they really don't have one. And, I mean, there is an awful lot on him each and every play as opposed to the normal SEC quarterback.
Brantley hit as he throws.
Boy, I would think that would be very fair to say. I mean, not to mention the fact you throw the expectations on top of him that he won the Heisman Trophy last year, had an unbelievable season with 55 total touchdowns. So the expectation level is there, and then he puts more expectation on top of himself. And he's just a great competitor. I think that this will be a good salve for the wounds that he had from last week.
Brantley will throw it again. Pass incomplete. That'll stop the clock at 1:38 to play. For Arkansas, this is a team that came in, I think, played a lot better than a lot of people gave them credit for after losing, giving up 101 points in their past 2 games and scoring a whopping total of 24. You know, the problem is they just can't find the end zone. I don't think they have issues with 20 to 20 offensively.
No, watch out for Coach Petrino's team now. This is a young group. We talked about 16 true freshmen are playing for him. And he realizes there's going to be growing pains. We talked about this stretch of 4 games with 3 to 4 teams that are probably trying to get themselves in position to play for a national championship. So his young kids have learned on the field from the best possible competition. Watch out for this man's team in the next couple seasons. It's hard to say that. It's hard. You want to win right now. You want to do things right now. But, I mean, at some point, you just got to take your lumps and you get better from it. He's got a kid waiting in the wings to play quarterback here, Ryan Mallett, a transfer from Michigan that is going to be a tremendous football player that understands that he's learning the system right now, spending a whole year getting ready to go. I think that they're going to be something special here over the next couple of years.
Big hole for Jeff Demps. He will take it to the end zone. 48 yards for the true freshman.
Arkansas gets caught in a short yardage type situation. A lot of defenders around the line of scrimmage. And once you crease it, of course, with Demps, it doesn't matter once you crease it, he's gone. But you saw a lot of Razorbacks around the line of scrimmage, nobody behind. And once Demps was able to crease it, good job on that right side by the Gators to create a hole. And Demps is in the end zone again.
Demps goes 36 yards, and then he goes 48 for his 2 touchdowns this afternoon. As the point after is up and good, and Florida stretches this lead out to 38-7. Florida has done a nice job with 514 yards of offense. .104 to go, 38-7. Florida out in front of Arkansas. As Jeff Demps has gone 7 carries, 103 yards. Chris Rainey 10 carries, 103 yards. .278 total yards rushing today for Florida. As Caleb Sturgis will kick it off again. And Dennis Johnson will take it at the 5. Boy, Dennis Johnson bounced off a couple of special teams tacklers today. Boy, Florida on the ground as they've shown the ability for the big play. Their short yardage guy, obviously, is Tim Tebow, 12 carries, 32 yards. But you need a home run. They've got him.
No question about it. And they did a better job on 3rd down today, Dave. They struggled against Ole Miss to convert. I thought they did a nice job in that medium range running it, too. We saw the explosion, those 2 young kids. We also saw they grounded out, pick up 1st downs on short yardage. They did a nice job with that today.
That pass is caught by the tight end, DJ Williams. DJ Williams today with 6 catches. Not much happening, though. They've contained him pretty well. DJ with 6 catches for about 35 yards.
Well, you talk about DJ Williams, Joe Adams, London Crawford will be back for his senior year next year. Michael Smith will be back. This is a team that's got a bunch of players that are getting a lot of experience. It's another freshman.
Jarius Wright, the true freshman out of Warren, Arkansas.
That's an Arkansas Razorback.
Arkansas will fall to 2-3 on the year and 0-3 in SEC play, while the Gators will go to 4-1 and 2-1. And up next for the Gators is a interesting matchup back at home in the Swamp with LSU.
One of those little games that they usually play every year.
You see the Hampton upcoming schedule. I mean, that is not an easy road, folks. This was a must-win for the Gators. There's no doubt about that. The importance of this game. I think Urban Meyer has been preaching it to his club all week long. And that'll do it. So the Florida Gators come all the way over to the Ozarks and respond in a resounding way after a tough loss last week to take down Arkansas 38-7. And the Gators have now won 7 straight over this Arkansas team. Their last meeting before this year was in the 2006 SEC title game. And Bobby Petrino will head to that locker room with his 3rd consecutive loss. We will come back, have more. Stay with us.